we were kind of chatting before everybody got on. Just want to thank you and the MFCA and all the coaches here in the state of Maine that have put this together. Obviously, we were disappointed we couldn't be down in Portland for the clinic, and it's always a great time of year to see everybody and connect and talk football. So thanks a lot. Certainly want to thank everybody out there who's in healthcare or on the front line here against this terrible disease. And I know it affects us here at Husson a little bit. We've got 4 coaches that either have daughters or wives or fiancés that are in the health field, so they see it every day. So we just want to thank everybody out there. Hope everybody's safe and well. And like Mike said, I don't know if you guys have questions or at the end of my presentation here, I've got my email. You guys can go on the Husson website. We'll share anything on Husson. So whatever you guys need, we'll certainly can give it to you. Tonight's talk's really, guys, just offensive line, tight end. Just going to do the fundamental, real basic talk here about kind of what we believe in at Husson, and maybe there's something here that you guys do that maybe solidifies some thoughts that you have, or maybe something that you guys might like. Obviously, I've been coaching at 20 years and started at Bangor High School and been at Husson for 13. So certainly feel like I've got the high school and college perspective, and everything that we do here tonight, we did in high school and at the high school level. And a big influence of my coaching career is Gabby Price, and certainly my college offensive line coach, Joe Gilbert, who's the Bucs O-line coach. So we'll give it a start here. This is just kind of our introduction here, what we think about football here at Husson. And this is really 2002 and when we started football, and it's kind of what we believe in. And the last line of that, always keep it in mind, players make plays and players win games. And that's kind of our mantra. I believe at Husson, always has been. We've had some great players and some great kids and won a lot of games, been successful. Certainly, coaching has something to do with that, but really it's about our players, and that's first and foremost. We always like to highlight our guys from Maine, and I apologize, Mike will get a kick out of that. That's Tyler Halls with the yellow. I must have been thinking about you and Levitt when I put it down, because I put Levitt there. He's actually a Lisbon Greyhound, but that's our group right there from Maine. Had some great players there this year. Josh Goddard from Brunswick, Juwan Moore from Morris, Tyler Halls from Lisbon, Garrett Poussard. Fortunately, had a knee injury here in the 5th game of the season, but had a good season to that point. Frankie Kearns, a captain for us from Cheverus. Dave Redmond from Westbrook High School. Caleb Karen from Gardner. We've had a long line of Gardner High School Tigers, and we're proud to have them. Billy Campbell from Hamden Academy. Tucker Buzzle's a freshman from Freiburg Academy. And Jackson Leonard's a senior, had a good career for us from John Bapp. So, Maine's an important state for us here, and we're a Maine school. And I believe 5 of our 9 coaches either played Maine high school football or their son did. So we're proud of that. Okay, that's a little bit about our offensive stats here, guys. And one thing I've circled here is our rush yards per game. We averaged 357 yards, and we only averaged 125 on the ground. That's a down year for us. When we're winning football games and we're really successful, we're over 200 yards a game. So a lot of my focus today will be on the run fundamentals. We did pass the ball particularly well. One thing I'm proud of in bold there is 9 sacks allowed on 328 pass attempts. That's certainly a lot. That's 328 pass attempts is more than what we're used to. We had a combination of some things here that, we didn't run the ball. It's something we're figuring out here in the off season. It's all 11 guys. It's just on the line, or the tight end, or the running back, or the receivers. It's on everybody, and we're looking to correct that. So as you can see there, that's a big part of our off season. Drive killers. I think these all have links to the offensive line, and you think about your own school and your own offensive line or whoever you coach. Number one would be penalties. Certainly, we like to limit those false starts, anything like that. Holding calls are huge drive killers. Negative plays, any run-throughs. Certainly, the A gap is where we start to protect, and we move out from there. Negative plays are drive killers. Sacks. Again, I was proud of that stat. 9 sacks. Nothing really kills a drive like a sack and turnovers. These are some things we look for, guys, in the offensive line. I'll kind of let you read through all those. Certainly, you got to have talent. That'd be first and foremost. And there's some other characteristics here we believe in and what we think it takes to be a great offensive lineman. And I don't think you guys would argue there. Here's our philosophy at Husson. All 5 of our offensive line positions are similar. Obviously, the center would be a little bit different because he snaps the ball. But a lot of our techniques and our schemes are really similar, and we do that for a couple of reasons. And mostly for size and depth are our number one factors. Meaning, size of our guys. All our guys are 6'6", 320. We got guys that range from 6 feet, 250 to 6'3", 290. So our guys are different size in depth. We kind of have the philosophy at Husson on the offensive line. It's the next best man up. So our second right guard might be our sixth best player. We have an injury, he's going in at guard or tackle. Our next best man is up. So that's kind of how we feel. When we talk about our philosophy and how we develop offensive linemen, that's what we talk about. We have 19 to 20 guys in the offensive line group. But as you guys know, it takes, if you're lucky, you get 7, 8, 9 guys at our level that can play and contribute and do a good job. So, and the other guys we develop all the time. Our guards and tackles are versatile. Our installation, we teach plays first and technique second. And I've always been a believer as a teacher, a phys ed guy, and a guy that played at the University of Maine for Joe Gilbert and Gabby Price in high school, that we teach the plays first. If they don't know what they're doing, if they have no idea why we're teaching the technique, then I think we've got some issues. So plays first, technique second. For example, that's our counter scheme right there, and we'll teach that concept, and then we'll talk about the techniques later. Okay, these are the 5 key fundamentals I believe an offensive lineman should all have and know, and we'll go back to this, but stance, aim and point, hips, punch, steps. And I think if you think about football at all levels, at all positions, most positions in football have these same 5 keys. And whether you call them the big 5 or whatever you have for a term for them, these are things that we try to emphasize each and every day on the offensive line. And whether it's youth football, high school, college, NFL, I bet you're going to find that these 5 things have something in common for every position. Some factors here. We develop our offensive line. First and foremost, I think you got to consider your style of offense. Whether you're a wing T. If you're a wing T, this talk may not be good, from a stance and some of your blocks, spread, shotgun, etc. I formation, which you don't see a lot of now, but certainly we were a big I team for a long time at Husson and Bangor. So that's where a lot of our principles came from before we went to the gun. You obviously coach the offensive line to your offense or to your O. Your personnel, who do you have in the room, in your offensive line room? That's going to be a big indication of what you're going to do here on offense or how you teach things. Your coaching style and philosophy, your beliefs. Your practice format. For us, it's, we do a pre-practice, so we have Indy. We have a unit period, which is just offense, a crossover where we do one-on-ones against the defense, and then your team period. So you think about developing your line with that in mind. And then, as I mentioned before, your 5 keys. Okay, our style of offense at Husson is, and this is kind of what we believed here for a long time, we're 2-pronged. We like to blend the run with the pass. We like to be a downhill running team or a power running game. Certainly believe in gap schemes. We'd like to be balanced on run and pass. Maybe not, certainly with yards, maybe not with attempts of runs and passes, but when we've been at our best, we've been very balanced in the run and the pass. We believe in 6-man protections. So our running back, I think Nick Carrion's in on the call tonight here, and again, we gave up 9 sacks, and our running backs did a heck of a job. So we believe in 6-man protections. We believe in RPOs. We're certainly developing those, and our zone and gap read runs. We haven't done a lot of gap read runs, but we've done some zone. And we certainly like zone and gap run schemes. We use a variety of personnels, as you can see right there, 10, 11, 20, 21. We use them all and certainly believe in it. Okay, our coaching philosophy, guys, we coach players. They're all different. You know that. Like I mentioned, this is the 3rd time here. All positions are similar here on the offensive line. Our core belief at Husson, it's our job to teach them, and that's why we're in this business. We certainly know what they can't do, and it's our job to get them to what they can do. Simple system. Again, the time we have with our players and the depth are major factors. That's why we keep it really simple. We're very similar to probably you high school guys in Division III. We get them for a 25 to 30-minute meeting a day and 2-hour practice. And, if we're lucky, we get every guy in the room for a meeting at 3, and we're on the field at 3:50, and we go to, 6 o'clock at night. So we got to be simple. We got to be really everything's got to kind of, meld together, and it's going to be very similar. We teach what we do, assignments first, technique second, and really we just use a few drills. And I'm a firm believer that all the drills you do, no matter what position, but particularly here the offensive line, they've got to apply to game situations. Okay, this is again a coach in philosophy, Gabby Price, who started football at Husson. It all starts with relationships, and the better relationship, the harder you can coach a guy. I've always believed that, and the more results you'll get. And we don't cuss guys, and we get after guys. We're passionate, but again, you build that relationship, great things happen. We demand more to eliminate doubt and excuses. We have high expectations for performance, and this is kind of my favorite one. When our players aren't performing at high levels, we take it personal as coaches, and if you don't, I think you certainly you should. And I think that's something that as coaching evolves here, if you can't take your players' performance personal when they do well and when they don't do well, you're in the wrong business. Okay, guys, this is kind of our daily format at the offensive line. We have daily scheduled drills, and we always communicate that in our meetings. We get 20 to 25 a day, so we'll do that. We'll install all our new plays on the board. We'll use film, a huddle, or handouts. All our guys have 3-ring binder notebooks, and we'll put everything in a notebook. They're expected to bring them to meetings and camps throughout the season. Anytime we're meeting and going over things, they bring them. Use of huddle is essential. It's been unbelievable. Our guys will have their corrections from the practice before they hit the meeting room at 3 the next day. And I know you guys at the high school level, if you're not using huddle, if you're not making corrections, you're not doing those things, I think you're missing out. It's fantastic. We always walk through new plays in pre-practice in our specialist period. And for me, that's teaching for all types of learners, whether you're visual, you're verbal, kinesthetic, however you have to do it. I think a lot of our guys, they have to do it right now. There used to be a day where we get on the board and we could drop a play and guys would get it or a concept, and now they need to walk through it, I think. Maybe it's the video games and the phones and everything they have at their fingertips. That's a practice schedule right there. Kind of highlighted a few things. It's a copy of that. This is a Tuesday practice for us, I believe. Pre-practice, we get about 10 minutes with the line. Indy, we get about 20. Team teach, it's our unit period on offense. We get another 10 minutes, and then so forth and so on. You can see there. That's kind of how we break up practice. That's how I plan it on the offensive line. Again, those are some more things here. You can talk about our run drill philosophy. We do 4 or 5 a day. And as you guys know, reps are really important. We try to introduce new drills before we hit the field. So I know that's tough, at all levels, but, if we can do it in spring football or for you guys in the summertime in June and camp, those are great times to install new drills. So when you get into the grind of the season in the work week, you already have them explained. Again, that's just some more stuff here. I won't get on all this. This is our drill progression. Again, pre-practice. This is some things that we do here. I'll kind of skip over that. Okay, guys, the 5 keys here fundamentally here. I talked about this a little bit earlier. Is stance, aim and point, where your eyes are, your hips, your punch, your steps. I think the stance is kind of self-explanatory. I get into that. Your eyes, probably the toughest thing to train at the offensive line position is your eyes. For a young player to have their eyes where they should be, whether it's defender if they're covered right on top of them, or if they got a combo block with the guy next to them to the second level, is training those eyes. And we see that in pass protection as well. Hips, let's face it, that's for some guys it's really natural. They're explosive. They might be great hand cleaners or great squatters. Other guys work on it in the weight room. Those guys that really have great hips to me are great players on the offensive line. Okay, punch are your hands, and obviously your feet, your steps. We'll go over all those right now. Okay, it all starts with the stance for us. First thing we keep in mind, because our guys, like I said, they're either 6 feet tall or 6'3", 6'4". Every player is different, so they're going to bend and look a little bit different in their stance. Our key thought here is every player must be in a position to exert power. And we teach a right-handed stance and a left-handed stance by position. Basic things here with the stance: feet or shoulder width, heels on the ground. And you're going to see some examples here in a minute where some of our guys have maybe have some air underneath the heel, and that's certainly not anything we look for. We like to keep both heels on the ground for power. Toes pointing slightly out, particularly that foot that's back. Toe to heel relationship. We bend at our ankles, hips, and knees. If you have a 45-degree angle at your foot, your tibia and your femur, you're going to be in a pretty powerful position. We like the hand on the ground, a 3-point stance, obviously. 5 finger pads touching the ground. And your hands can be right under your eye. Like if your eyeball, you've heard this expression before, but if your eyeball fell out right underneath your eye, that's really where your hand would be in the 3-point stance. Flat back, off forearm is resting on your thigh, fingers out over the kneecap. 2-point stance, very similar now. The only thing is obviously you don't have your hand on the ground. Like a slight forward lean with a big chest. Obviously we're in a 2-point stance. We'll talk about our philosophy on the stances, but when we're in a 2-point, that's really a third and long or an obvious passing down. Other than that, we like the 3-point. So here's this is our left tackle right here. This is Jake Cameron. And Jake's in a left-handed stance here, his left tackle. His left foot's back a little bit too far just to be a little bit nitpicky. But if you look at his feet and his tibia there, so I don't know if I get the tools here. But you can see my cursor right there. And if you see his foot, his tibia there, that's a 45 degree. And now with his femur there, we got about a 45-degree angle there. He's pretty powerful. The one thing I noticed is he's only got 4 fingers down. He's got to work on his bend a little bit. One thing I do like is his eyes. As you can see, he's pointing at something here. So he's certainly, we certainly looking here to whether it's a second level as defender, certainly like that about his stance. Nope. Here's a right-handed stance. This is our right tackle, Tommy Emery. Again, if you look at his power angles here, with his foot and his femur, his foot and his tibia and his femur now. Okay, about 45-degree angles there. Good bend. He's got 5 fingers down. His eyes are up. Look at his offhand, guys. Okay, his forearms on his off leg with his fingers up, ready to punch. Tommy's in a great position right there to strike and get his hips moving in the right direction and strike somebody. This is a 2-point stance now by Jake again. And as you can see right there, it's pretty good. He's got a big chest, his weight's back, pretty good stance. One thing I like about Jake's stance here is that he's got both feet on the ground, which is a good thing. Again, stance, we always do it, guys, first 5 minutes of practice. And it's something that we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We do it 5 days a week, so our guys are always in stances. Our philosophy is really simple, 3rd and 4th, 4th and long. We're in 2-point stance, a tackle position, guards if they're comfortable. All other downs, we're in a 3-point stance. We certainly struggle with pad level. I think we all do at every level. And I don't like the leverage in the run game out of a 2-point. And as you can see, 98% of our offense is in the shotgun. Again, these are just, I apologize, guys. I don't have great tape here, drill tape. I was just talking to Gabby Price, actually, before I got on this thing and on this call. And we were just talking. We always talked about taping our drills here in the spring or early fall or preseason camp. And kind of apologize. I don't have any drills here, but you can see the coach here, the O-line. Every day, guys, we got a 5-minute block. We're just working our steps. Whatever blocks you use, inside zone, down, drive, we do it. We also partner up. We'll do a pre-practice drill. Yeah, we've got 18 to 20 guys in the room at Husson at our level. So we certainly have a lot of guys here. Normally, I have an assistant with me. There'll be 2 guys. That includes the tight end. So we've got some guys. So this is a quick way to partner up, guys, for about 2 minutes and get some work, first couple steps, punching, things like that. Do all this in pre-practice. Okay, next coaching point of the 5 keys is your eyes or your aiming point. And certainly if you head up in your stance, it allows your eyes to be up. We talk about our guys all the time. They must see their target in their stance. And for some guys, if we got a combo, like I'm going to demonstrate a play here in a little bit, our Maryland play, our mid-zone. And we always talk to our guys about if you're comboing, getting your eyes at the second level. Really important in pass protection, especially if you're a slide team here. Know where they're coming from and having your eyes up. Honestly, I think the highs are the hardest part to coach. And that comes with a lot of instinct and guys, obviously a lot of reps and that's your job as a coach to get in those reps and train their eyes. Again, we talk about aiming points, this area on the defender's body, which we focus our eyes on. I think it's really important at youth level, high school level, college, obviously in the NFL. You got to give your guys an aiming point. You got to give these offensive linemen an aiming point, whether it's the inside number, outside number, armpit. At the second level, you got to give these guys things to focus on. And I put an example here in our outside zone. That's a play we're trying to do better with. Our aim point for covered O lineman is the defender's play side armpit or the second level. The uncovered guy, we're looking for the hip or knee of the play side D lineman. So again, these guys know when they get in their stance, where their eyes should be. I got a clip here, guys. This is down at Nichols College here early in the year, and you can see right here, I think it's a pretty good stance by our right guard, hand down, off, hand up, forearms on his opposite knee. And you can see these two guys, the tackle and guard, got a combo here. This is Maryland for us. I got a combo. Really like the tackle's eyes on the second level here. Boom, you get a second level, gets up, you get a pretty good run. So that's just a little bit about your eyes right there as far as getting them at the second level. The guys knew where they're supposed to be. Another great, I think, drill for the train the eyes is the mirror dodge drill. And I know you guys all do this. It's simply just put two cones out on the field. You got no lineman. He's usually a couple yards in front of the cones with a defender. And normally how we do it at Husson is the first time through, we'll just get a couple kicks or a couple movements to each side. And second time through, we'll play a little game. So if the D lineman scores, gets through the cone, it's 1 point. You go until they score, and the next guy goes. So it's a good way to keep your eyes, on the chest or whatever your aiming point is in pass pro. And we do this twice a week during our practice week. Okay, next thing we'll talk about is our hips. And again, the hips are really important too, like the eyes and certainly the stance. A lot of people, I think, believe that, your hands are your first movement, but we certainly believe that your hips are your first movement. Your body's got to be going forward in the run game, okay, to be great. And we always talk about our hips being in front of our feet. And a lot of times you hear that chest, chest over your toes or hips over your feet. I think that's important when you're talking about an offensive lineman. Your power is going to come hands through your hips to your feet. And so, again, I think the hips are really important. I wish I didn't have we do this drill every day. This is more of a D-line drill, I think, with the Packers, and our offensive coordinator is a big Packers fan, so I thought I'd include this clip here. But 6-point progression, as you can see, that this is exactly how we do it here at Husson. Our elbows might be a little bit tighter here, but get our toes in the ground, our knees in the ground, and our hands on the ground here. 6-point progression, and we're just going to practice, extending our hips right here and hitting the pad. Normally, how we do it at Husson is we'll have 5 or 6 lines, so 5 offensive lines and a tight end line. We'll have a defensive player in front of them with a shield, and we'll work 2 or 3 punches, and on the last punch, they'll explode their hips and fall to the ground. Just a good drill here to kind of work on your hips. And another way you can do it is on the sled. If you have 5-man sled, and as I mentioned, defender with a shield. Fit position. It's kind of talking about the hips. We certainly start with fit position, the proper position on a defender. Every level, youth football, high school, college. Obviously, I think most start here with this position. Guys got to know where they should be. Some of the coaching points we talk about in our fit position is, our face on defender's jersey, hands inside, elbows tight, slight forward lean. So again, your chest and your hips over your toes, and you weight on your insteps and heels. Again, this is a fit and finish drill we'll do. Again, I think it's a good hip drill. You're already engaged now, so our guys start either in a 3-point stance, that's one variation, or they start in a fit position, meaning they put their hands in a W right on the chest of the defender, okay, knees over toes, hips over toes, and now on the cadence of coach's cadence, they're just going to drive them off the fold. Their first movement's going to be their hips, and we just want to see them, drive their hips down the board and finish low. So again, we do this. We do this certainly in preseason a few times, and then at least once a week once the season gets going. Okay, got an example here of gonna run play here. Okay, just want to go back here and this is just an example right here. Both sides, the right tackle here and the left guard. The left guard is gonna be at the second level here. I just want to see his hips. His head's a little off, but his hips are down and he explodes. And our right tackle right here, just get a good example of getting off the football. Okay, let's see a little bit more drive on contact. His feet stop, but I like his hips. Boom, he's punching. His punch should be a little bit more inside, but if you're focusing on his hips, does a pretty good job. At the second level here, okay, of our left guard right over here, Jordan Davis. Okay, he's gonna come second level. Boom, he pops his hips. Okay, Jordan had great hips. And again, those are things that you work on the bag drills, the sled, 6-point progression. Good clip. Okay, the next thing here, guys, is the punch. And obviously, the first thing we're going to talk about on the punch is punch with your elbows tight to the body. We punch with our thumbs up here. We make a W with our hands right on the defender's chest. Your feet always follow your punch. We strike with the heel of our hand. That's where the most powerful part of your hand is. So we emphasize that when we're doing these punch drills. Again, the key is the hands, elbows, hips, feet all in line when you punch. That's where you're going to be strong. We used to teach a pendulum punch, getting your elbows back when we were in high school at Bangor 20 years ago. And one thing we've noticed here, because the defensive lines are so well coached now and they're trying to get their hands on as quick as possible, that we just come right out of our stance, boom, right with the W right now. So we don't get our arms back anymore. These kids are pretty strong. You guys are doing great things in the weight room. So really just getting out of our stance and getting our hands right on the defender. Okay, and again, it goes back to fit position, everything being in line. Okay, real quick, again, I don't have the drill. I apologize, but we just do a two-step punch drill, and we'll do that right on the sled. We now got a 5-man sled, and basically we'll just line up 5 guys up on a bag. They'll be in a 3-point stance. If they're doing the drive block, for example, we'll just they'll take a lateral step with their inside foot, second step right to the bag, and we'll just practice punching and holding on the bag, and we'll do that a couple times through, and then we'll actually push the sled. So that's just one way. We do a 2-step punch drill. Variation is you can if you have boards and don't have a sled, you certainly can just line up your boards and have a defender with a shield and work. Certainly taking 2 steps, whatever block it may be, whatever block you're teaching, whatever footwork you have, getting off, boom, hitting that bag or that sled make the W with your thumbs and get into the chest and make sure they're in great fit position. So that's a punch drill that we'll use. The 6-point progression is another one that we'll use for the punch drill. We like both of them. They're both good. 6-point progression is good for the hips and the punch. We'll get an example of a punch here. Again, we're going to use Tommy here on the right side. Yeah, pretty good punch right here. You can see he's fighting to get inside. He's fighting to get inside position right there. Yeah, he does a pretty good job. Okay, this is an RPO actually, so it's a run play for us up front. Okay, he's got the run play, and we use the pass option here. Okay, this is a pass set again, just to kind of show the punch. Okay, we'll focus on the tackles here. And pretty good punch right there. Really like the left tackle over here, Jake. Does a good job with his punch. His weight's back. Look what he does to the defender on his punch. Gets right to his chest. Boom. Tommy on the other side. Tommy's really vital with his punch. He's got some of the strongest hands that we've ever had, we've ever coached. Tommy's a young man out of St. Johnsbury Academy up in Vermont. Transferred from Norwich. Had a great year for us. And Jake Cameron on the left side, he's a New Hampshire kid. Again, think about these 2 guys. It's just how strong their hands are, how they punch. So this is a good example on the pass pro right there. Our right guard, same thing. If you watch him, you can't really see it, but he's getting his hands inside. He's really punching and fighting, getting his weight back. Again, we do these drills on the sled. We do them with a partner. We do them everywhere. You can do them in pre-practice, just a muscle memory, getting your hands on people, making the W, getting your strong hands. Okay, the next thing here, we've got our steps or our feet. And I think a lot of people think about, stepping and trying to get, some leverage on the defender, inside, outside. But really, and I heard the guy, the coach Bill Callahan from Minnesota say this in some of his talks is they step to move or push to move. And we step to get movement or push on our defender. So that's what we talk about when we step. Not so much, gaining leverage and all that. We do talk about that, but really when you step, you just want to be powerful now in a position to move the defender. Because we all know, whoever gets movement there on the line of scrimmage in the run game is going to win. We want to maintain a strong base when we step. All our steps should allow our hips to go forward. Again, we'll talk about false stepping and things like that. Steps should allow our feet to be on the ground. That's important. As we all know, I'm not a scientist or a science major, but I know my feet are on the ground. I got all that power going through my body from my hands all the way down. I'm a powerful guy. Okay, we get some good steps here. This is a clip here of our tight end here on the left. Over here at 87, our tight end. You can see his steps right here. Does a great job. He steps inside, gets his hands inside, and drives this defender off the football. I'll slow that down one more time. Again, he's stepping hard with an inside foot, dropping off the football. Again, it's all about power now. These are drive steps for us. Maryland drive is the drive concept where we're comboing on each side and we're man at the tackle spots here right now. The right tackle anyway. You see Tommy over here on the right side. I focus in on his steps here. He takes good steps. But again, one thing Tommy doesn't do here, just bring his feet. Okay, his hips are a little bit high. Okay, his punch is good. His punch is inside. Steps, bam, he wants to drive off the football. But a good run right there on Maryland. Again, we step to push, to move the defender. Okay, another example right here. Okay, we're running, I believe it's Maryland. Okay, a couple of things to emphasize here is our first two steps. You're going to see our right tackle right here, Tommy. Okay, he's going to have fantastic steps. This is a 3-4 front here, and this guy's going to slant in front of his face, and his steps are fantastic. He's going to drive blocks, so he's going to step with his inside foot and cuts the defender off. Another thing to think about right now, guys, is our eyes at the second level here for our guards. They're doing a great job with their eyes and training their eyes to be in the right place. Our running back does a nice job cutting off that. He senses the slant. We got them outnumbered here. We got 6 and they got 5, so those are always good advantages, no matter what your technique is. But certainly wanted to emphasize the feet. Okay, just got some other things here about run blocking keys, being square, your power angles. Okay, those are things you can see as coach. We lead with our hips. Our face masks and hands will follow. We don't shoulder block at Husson. We use our face mask. Through our hips and through our hands. We punch with our thumbs up, elbows in, make the W with our thumbs. We finish low, and we try to do this a lot in our drills too with some of our fit and finish drills where we extend our hips, guys, and we're really just going to extend our arms up and then keep our hips down. And we certainly don't want to rise up on our hips, and you're not strong that way. So we talk a lot about finishing with our arms and blasting our, like that bench press or that incline, driving up. And again, reps, muscle memory. Again, we've gone over this, but aiming points, steps, leverage, backside foot and knee. So again, these are all things, these aren't rocket science. These are things that we've done for a long time at Husson and things we like. Just a few more clips here, guys. And okay, I thought this kind of brought it all together here. Those 5 keys: the stance, the eyes, the hips, the punch, and the steps. Right here, this is another drive block for our right tackle. And we asked our right tackle to do a lot of drive blocking. He steps with his inside foot, gets a punch, drives them, and makes a great block. Again, if you look at his stance looks great. Both feet are on the ground, toe to heel, relationship, off arm up, eyes up. Okay, his right hand is down right over his eyes. Okay, you talk about his eyes are on his defender. Okay, his hips, watch his hips. His hips are the first thing to move. And now he's going to punch. Now he's going to drive. Does a great job. So that's kind of putting it all together right there. All the 5 things we're talking about. Another key, I think, to being a successful run blocker, guys, is your pre-snap checklist. And this is kind of something that, when I played at Maine under Joe Gilbert, I think is just a tremendous offensive line coach. We talked about things like, what are you thinking about when you get to the line of scrimmage? And we talk about this to our guys all the time. First is their eyes and their aiming point. Second is their feet and what foot are they going to step with. And Coach Gilbert always had a great, whatever foot you were going to step with, you should know in your pre-snap. You should know when you get to the line of scrimmage. And the weight of whatever foot you're going to step with should be on the opposite foot. So if I was going to step with my right foot, I was always going to have my weight on my left. It sounds kind of elementary school, but something I always thought about when I got to the line of scrimmage was which foot is I going to step with. Obviously, you got to know what type of block you have. What's a drive block, zone block, whether it's a combo, who am I working with, where the play is going. Obviously, that's important. And then the snap count. So this is what we talk to our guys a lot about: eyes, feet, what type of block, where it's going, and certainly you got to know the snap count. Great thing about Husson is we've gone on the same snap count, I think, for the last 13 years. And anybody that's played us knows that it's not rocket science. We probably should change that up. I think Coach Brandon's listening here today. He's probably got some ideas. Again, this is Coach Gilbert again. He's the offensive line coach for the Bucks. When your body weight's on your opposite foot of your first step, as you guys know, the false step, this is how we eliminate it. And I could tell when a guy's false steps in practice and or we see it on film, first thing I'll ask him is where the weight was. And 9 times out of 10, it was on the foot he was trying to step with. So it's something to think about. If you guys got guys false stepping at whatever level you're at, ask them where their weight is. And this has always been a great thing that I brought with me in my career. Okay, this is just one of our run plays here. We love the drive block, and a drive block for us is just an inside step, wherever position you play, left tackle, right tackle, guard. It's an inside lateral step to get leverage on the defender, and the second step right to the crotch. We call this Maryland 44 drive, and really it's an inside play for our running back. It's a direct read. It's not like veer out of the gun, and we've had a lot of success. We had a running back, John Smith, who had a 4-year career for us, over 7,000 yards, and I'd say 6,000 of them were on this play. So we've liked it, and it's one of the first plays that we'll teach. An example here now in our game. We love a tight end. Our tight end's a big part of our run game. As you can see here, if you watch these guys get up the football, again, I love our right guard stance right here. See his stance. I'm sorry, guys. I'll slow that down there on the video. But look at his stance, off arm, both feet are on the ground. You see his eyes are here at the second level. In this particular play now, our tight end, he's got a base drive. Okay, we're going Maryland 44. Our 4 holes right over the guard here. So our right guard and right tackle, they're comboing here to 54. Okay, on the backside here, our center, he knows he's either comboing with the left guard, or in this case, because he's got a zero shade, he's going to block him base. That's Josh Goddard out of Brunswick High School. Our left guard right there is he's gonna climb up to the second level, and our left tackle is gonna base drive from the backside. So we've got 6, they've got 6. It's really just a direct read here for the running back. He should be inside leg of this right guard, and it's just a basic drive play, football 101. Our center does a good job right here getting displacement. Guard does a good job. He's inside, which he got a little bit more push there at left guard. Got a good combo right here. Eyes in the right place for our guard. Good play. Again, these are some of the drills that we'll work on and drive block. Okay, we got some drills here. I'll go over these real quickly here. I only got a few minutes, but we certainly the shoots. Love the shoots. I think they work all the 5 keys we talked about: your stance, your eyes, your punch, your hips, and your feet. Usually we put three boards in the shoot. We'll line a defender over each board. And you can perform all your blocks now. Whether you're a zone team, drive team, down, we pull in there. It's a great drill for leverage and steps. We do a lot of combos in there too. We do some of our 2-on-2. So if you go back to this, Maryland right here with a guard and tackle, okay, we'll do that right in the shoot. So that drill right here with our guard and our tackle, our right guard and our tackle, if you can pretend there's a shoot here, we'll do that in the shoot. And so I think the shoots are really valuable for obviously your pad level, staying down. We use the shoot at least twice a week, Tuesday and Wednesday of our practice week. And if you don't have one and it's on the budget, you certainly can make one. I think the shoot's important. Again, you guys can see here some coaching points. You can kind of go through that on your own. And for the third time, I'll apologize about the drill tape, but one of these years I'm going to come on here with some drills taped. Okay, boards. We use boards now without the shoots. And usually we line 6 boards up, 1 for each position, because the tight ends are with us a lot of the time in our indie period. We like to line the boards up on a line so we can see their first step. And you got, like I said, we do a variety of blocks on there. We can put a defender on there. They can do it on air. For me, it's a great way to see their steps, see their base, and all that. Okay, we do one-on-ones. We can do that against our offense. We also do that in our crossover period with the D-line. So we'll do that on boards when it's O-line versus O-line. And then just like our pass one-on-one, we'll do that with our defensive line just to see guys go 1 versus 1. Each guy gets a rep, and you can see that. Okay, we do our double drills. Shouldn't be double. It should be combo drill, 2-on-1. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It is a double drill. We don't have many doubles at Husson, but sometimes on our power read front side 3, if we're taking care of him, we might use a double on that to get some push. And so we talk a little bit about that. You can set those up pretty easily at all levels. Again, now our combo drills. We talked about Maryland. That's why I put that up there. We use combos all the time. So For example, if we're running Maryland, if it's a Tuesday, we're going to spend 5 minutes in our indie period going over the different combos we might see based on the defense. And, you can add linebackers, wherever you want them. And it's a great drill to train the eyes on the second level. It's great, certainly a great drill getting out and getting out of your stance. Again, this is how we set it up. Again, it's not rocket science. You put the D lineman in any shade you want, whatever you're going to have that week. Okay, and the other thing we'll do is stations, and we'll do this each day. Each day we'll have 3 stations. So, for example, station 1, we'll do that 2-1-2. Maybe it's the Maryland drive concept. You can see station 2 is the inside zone versus an even front. So we got a right tackle there and a right tight end working zone. And then the station 3, we might be working a reverse backside. So that's our left guard and left tackle. So let's say we're running Indiana, our zone play right here. If we're running zone right, these 2 guys are working here, this combo and going. As you can see, when we set up our stations, guys, we certainly set them up so all our guys get reps. These guys will know these stations each and every day. So we get to the season now. We get to our 10 games regular season, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I've told these guys in the meeting what we're going to do. So we set these up quick. We don't waste any time. And again, these are drills that we do all the time. And we maximize reps. We flip the stations to work both sides. If you're an O-line coach at the high school level and you've got an assistant or 2, you guys could have a guy at each combo station. Be organized, know what you're doing. Again, these are game situations. These are things that we see in the game. We're not interested in things that don't happen. We don't bear crawl. We don't things like we block, and we block defenses that we're going to see, on the weekend. All right, that brings me to about 45 minutes. I don't know how much further Mike wants me to go here. Mike, if you're listening, how much time do I have here?
Yeah, I'm coming on, Coach. I got a couple of let me get my video up here too. I got a couple of questions for you.
Perfect.
So, Coach Snell, any suggestions, Coach, for undersized linemen, both individually or scheme-wise?
Well, that's a great question. Hope Coach Snell's doing well tonight down there in Madomic. Well, obviously, I think one of the things we do at Husson is we have undersized linemen, and I think sometimes that's to our advantage with leverage. And I think that doesn't always mean that an undersized guy can't do it. We like gap schemes. I think undersized guys, we like down blocks, like the angles that we get with the down blocks. The drive block's tough when you're undersized. If you're playing against a big defender, it's tough. Maybe some of your schemes you got to bring in an extra tight end or fullback in the backfield and get some sort of combo or double at the point of attack. Anytime we're having trouble moving guys, we like to bring another guy to the point of attack. So whether we pull a guy or double or some sort of combo and bring a fullback, through the hole. So.
Yeah, I would say from our experience, we'll either try to get 2 guys on that block at the point of attack, and if we lose a little bit at the second level, then we do.
Yeah.
We read a lot of stuff too. So sometimes we go with if you can't block them, read them.
Scenario, yeah, well, I think that's certainly where we're at right now at Husson, Mike. In our off season is the zone read. We've had that. We've done that for a few years. Not much, but the power read game is just you block one less guy, and I think you're going to get a double somewhere and a pulling guard, and it's all good stuff. I'm not sure how comfortable you are down there with that, Coach, but Coach Snell, but certainly there's a lot of great coaches here in the state of Maine that are doing that and been very successful.
Anybody else got anything out there they want to get asked? I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, Coach, and then we'll just kind of take questions if you're good.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't really know the path. I thought good place to stop there, Mike.
Say that again. I lost you for a second.
No, I just said that. I just stopped it there. That was about 45 minutes. So I had some more slides, but they were pass block, and I just really wanted to emphasize the run tonight.
Okay, maybe we'll get you back on again for some pass block and stuff.
Oh, geez, that'd be great. That'd be great.
And I'll hold you to the drill tape next spring now at the clinic.
What's that?
I said I'm going to hold you to the drill tape at the clinic next spring. You got to get that done this fall. we can
Gabby
see
and
some
I
of
were
that.
we were just talking about that before I got on. He's like, "Geez, we've always said that. Eddie Mysterio is the only guy that does it. He does it religiously." So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
it's good too. We should be doing the same thing. You know, like I did the
yeah,
quarterback talk the other day, and it would have
yeah,
been great to have. I was going to bring the kids outside, but
yeah,
you know, I haven't really had a chance to with all that's going on. But I'm still going to try and get
yeah,
them out and do some of the drills with them. But it'd be nice to have our all of our quarterbacks there and how we set it up in practice. So.
yeah. I didn't want to make an excuse. We were going to tape them the week before the main clinic with our guys in our indoor facility, and we were just going to go over a few drills. But when everything fell apart in the world, we didn't get to it. So, but yeah, you guys tape practice, Mike?
We do during doubles.
Yeah.
So during doubles, we'll tape every practice, and not as much the indie periods. Usually, it's just if a coach, if Coach Bach wants his line session tape, we'll try to do it, or sometimes Coach Vaughn wants the DBs or whatever. But normally, we'll try to tape all the group and team periods in the preseason, and then we'll put them up and put some coaching points on them, or maybe even bring the kids in a little early before practice and watch.
Yeah. I think at our level, Division III, and certainly high school, very similar. We're all pressed for time, so for us, just having a very simple scheme and interchangeable positions on the offensive line just makes sense. So.
Yeah, I think it helps you too in the preseason, just evaluation wise. If you just don't see everything when you're out on the field.
Yeah.
So by taping it, I go back at night and I can watch, I can rewind and watch every kid on defense in the secondary, or watch all the skill kids or whatever. But it's just a good way to evaluate and teach both.
Yeah, I think I love Huddle, and we love everything about it. And I know there's obviously there's a lot of value in the film. The film never lies, as they say.
No, it doesn't.
No.
How's it looking for you guys next fall? What's the outlook?
Things are going